When I think about stalking, I think about the fact that when we reach a certain place of awareness or of consciousness, what happens is that we create space between us or our center and stories. The thing about stories of other people that impact us so much, especially stories of loved ones, but really I have noticed that in the world we are constantly being updated on a status of some kind. Somebody is telling us about their sicknesses, somebody else is telling us about their miseries of life, or that they just won the lottery, who knows. Everybody has a story. And I believe that this story is really a distraction from the truth. The issue is that we listen and we get sucked in to these stories. I've recently come to a space where I have had to accept certain people just leaving, either mentally, spiritually, or actually physically. And I've really grappled with this understanding about where people are in their lives. There are people that live in their stories. They think of themselves as the story they're telling you. That is their picture, the picture they have of themselves. And then there are people who have managed to step back and that live in a mind of observer, that have created space between themselves and their story, between other people's stories and themselves. There are people that are done, they're finished, they have closed off, they are not able to connect anymore. And that's also okay. I think everybody has a journey, and we have to remember that that's a life that they have lived and that they have experienced, and it's a part of their path. What we have to remember is when we get involved in other people's stories, we give advice, we try to help. We really actually, especially when we try to help without being asked, there's a fine line between doing something because you feel in your heart this is what you want to do, regardless of the outcome, that is something that is coming from your inside, or whether you feel like this is the appropriate thing to do. This is what a good person would do at this point in time. When we think, oh, this is what a good person would do at this point in time, we come away from the truth. We come away from our center, and it's just a memory that we've been told as children, or who knows. The truth is that everybody has their journey, and sometimes it's hard to accept a journey, but it is their journey. We can only come together or come to a place where we feel like we are one, where we feel like we're breathing together. We recognize that sense of unity between us when we have stepped up and can look at the truth of things. That is my understanding. I just want to now share also a quick exercise to do when someone is telling you a story and you feel you're getting very judgmental about it. Rather than telling that person something from your sense of judgment, your sense of correctness, come to a place where you're letting the information that's being told to you come into almost like this bubble of water that's right in front of you. So just imagine you're sitting there listening, and all this stuff is going here into this bubble of water. The thing about water is it reflects. And when you learn to do this exercise correctly, and it's easy to do, you'll feel afterwards that all this stuff has been gathered in this water, this imaginary bubble of water, and it's also being reflected back to that person so that they can make an accurate judgment of themselves rather than having it come from you and being skewed. You're simply reflecting. This works quite well, and you'll feel like you're walking away. You're not getting drawn into that judgmental mindset. And it actually saves a bunch of energy, and that's part of why we stalk, right? All right, so there it is. I hope you got something out of it. Let me know if it works for you.